All right, let's talk about a really sneaky cyber threat that Microsoft just flagged. We're looking at a campaign where attackers are using something we're all taught to trust, a valid digital signature, to basically dress up their malware in a tuxedo. It's a threat that comes in trusted clothing, so let's get into it.
I mean, just think about that for a second. We're all trained to look for those little signs of trust online, right? A padlock, a valid certificate. But what happens when the bad guys start using those very signs against us? Well, that's exactly what's happening here. Trust itself has become the weapon. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll start by breaking down how this whole trust thing is being exploited. Then we're going to trace the attack from start to finish, see how the backdoor gets in, how the attackers make sure they can stay in, and then, the most important part, we'll finish up with what you can actually do to defend yourself.
Okay, first up, the whole idea here is the weaponization of trust. The attackers have figured out a simple truth. If they can make their malicious code look authentic and trustworthy, our defenses, both our personal ones and our software, are way more likely to just let it walk right in the front door.
So let's make sure we're all on the same page. What even is a digital signature? Well, you can think of it like a digital, tamper-proof seal on a box. It's supposed to tell your computer two things. One, this software is really from the company it claims to be from, and two, nothing nasty has been slipped inside since it was sealed up. It's a bedrock of online security.
And this is where it gets really tricky. Our expectation, our training, tells us that a digital signature means safe. But the reality in this campaign? Attackers got their hands on a legitimate certificate and just started signing their malware with it. All of a sudden, their malicious program looks totally legit, and it's able to fool not just people, but a lot of security tools too.
Okay, so how does an attack like this actually work in the real world? Let's follow the breadcrumbs and see the deception trail, from the initial lure all the way to a full system compromise. As you might have guessed, it all kicks off with some good old-fashioned social engineering. This is an example of the phishing email they use. Now, yeah, the text is in Korean, but the tactic is universal. It's designed to look like some urgent business email, maybe a Teams transcript or an invitation to bid on a project. Anything to make you feel that sense of urgency and click without thinking.
And this next step is so clever. On the left, you see what looks like a totally normal pop-up asking to open a file in Adobe. But when you click it, you don't get a document. No, you're whisked away to this fake download page on the right. It looks almost exactly like a real installer page, tricking you into thinking you need a quick update, when in reality, you're about to download the attacker's malware.
So, if we piece it all together, this is the entire attack chain. It's a 6-step process. It starts with that phish. You get redirected to the fake download site, and then you run the malware, which seems totally fine because remember, it's digitally signed. From there, it's all downhill. A script downloads the real backdoor, it hooks itself into the system to survive a reboot, and boom, the attacker has complete remote control.
Now let's talk about that backdoor. You see, the initial piece of signed malware isn't really the end goal. Its only job is to be a Trojan horse. Its mission is to get past the guards, get inside the castle walls, and then open the door from the inside for the real army to pour in. And here's how it opens that door. The malware uses PowerShell, a super powerful scripting tool that's built right into Windows, to quietly download and install something called an RMM tool. That stands for Remote Monitoring and Management. These are legitimate tools that IT admins use all the time to fix computers remotely. But here, the attackers are abusing that power to give themselves a secret, permanent key to the system. And the sneakiness just doesn't stop. Even during the installation, the malware is trying to hide. You can see here how it creates system services with totally innocent-sounding names, like Adobe Reader Installer. It's all about blending in, making it incredibly hard to spot that a malicious remote connection is being quietly set up in the background.
You know, getting in is one thing, but the real prize for an attacker is staying in. So now let's look at how they make sure their access survives a simple reboot and what they do once they've set up shop on a machine.
Okay, for my more technical folks watching, this is a huge indicator of compromise. The malware burrows into the Windows registry and adds a key to this specific run location. This is a classic trick. It basically tells Windows, hey, every single time this computer starts up, I want you to run my program first. And just like that, the attacker has reliable, persistent access.
And they don't just stop with one backdoor. These attackers deploy a whole toolkit of different RMM tools. Why? It's all about redundancy. If a defender finds and removes Screen Connect, they've got Tactical RMM as a backup. If that gets found, they've got Mesh Agent. It's a clear sign you're dealing with a sophisticated attacker who plans for failure.
All right, enough about the problem. We've seen how the attack works. Now for the most important part. How do we actually stop it? Let's go through the concrete steps Microsoft recommends to protect your systems.
So here's your defensive playbook. First, use application control to basically create a guest list for software. If an RMM tool isn't on the approved list, it can't run. Simple as that. Second, for any remote access tools you do use, you absolutely have to enforce multi-factor authentication. And finally, make sure you're using modern, layered defenses, things like cloud-powered antivirus and advanced email scanning to catch these threats before they even get close.
And this quote from Microsoft's report really just nails it. The core strategy is control. You can't have your own tools abused by attackers if you strictly control which tools are even allowed to be in your environment in the first place. It's about being proactive, not just reactive.
So we end up right back where we started, with this really challenging question. If a digital signature, something that was designed to verify trust, can be turned into a weapon, what does that mean for us? It means we have to think more critically. It's not enough anymore to just see a badge of trust. We have to start questioning the entire system of trust itself.
And that's our look at the signed malware threat. It's a perfect example of how the cybersecurity landscape is always changing and why staying informed is just so critical. So, if this explainer helped you get your head around the risks, hitting that like button and subscribing really helps us keep making more content to keep you ahead of the curve. Thanks so much for watching, and stay safe out there.